Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I have a presentation box of a kind, a recess, sort of diorama, shadow box, whatever you'd like to call it. And as you can see, it stands erect, and in this case it's intended to have lights in the back. So I've already got the apertures. It's going to be difficult to see them at the moment. That are cut out in the shape of clouds that are there. And then what you do is just place the lights inside the box like that, and then close it up, and then it would shine through. But at the moment I don't have any lights. I am on the hunt for some, and if I can get them before I post this video, I will update it before I upload it. But you could, of course, if you wanted to, make this a permanent closure, in which case all you would need to do then is to put these tabs in permanently. You would attach your back piece over all those, and you could still have a nice little box. So if you'd like to learn how to do this, stick with me and I'll show you how. Cardstock I have here is already cut to 10 inches by 8.5 inches, and as you can see it has this rectangle cut out into the center of the piece. You could use a rectangle, an oval, a heart, just a circle, anything you want, just so you have an opening for your scene to be placed behind. So the scoring for this is quite simple. It's going to be the same on all four sides, and it's going to be done at 1/2 inch and at 2 inches. So 1/2 inch and 2, and 1/2 inch and 2. Again. Final side. Oops. 1/2 inch and 2 inches. To neaten this aperture up, I have this piece which I've cut just about 1/4 of an inch more than the opening. Now my opening was 4 by 2, but yours might be different. So I'm just going to glue that in place while it's still flat, and then we can start folding and burnishing score lines and doing the cutting to form the box. Right, now we can fold it along that 2 inch score mark and the 1/2 inch as well. Now what I want to do is to put lights behind my scene. So when I get to the recess piece that is going to go behind here, I'm actually going to have some shapes cut out so that the light can shine through, but you don't have to put lights behind yours. And in fact, if you wanted to, you could make this completely closed so that you don't have an opening side. But I'm going to have one side open so that I can get access to the lights, so I can put them in and out. Now, to cut this, if you are going to do that, then you would want to cut it this way. And it actually won't matter if you cut it this way for the opening and change your mind and decide you want to just completely close the box up permanently, because it will still glue into place. So the first thing I want to do is to come up these score lines here, this one and then the outermost one, and I think I'll turn it this way. And I've also decided that I want this side to be my opening. You could have this side as your opening if you want. It doesn't matter, just as long as you make sure that you have your tabs in the right place. So this being on my right hand side, I'm going to just turn it over because I'm hoping that I can cut this a little easier from this side. So the first thing I want to do is to come up on this side. I'm going to start here. So that's my opening side. I'm going to come up here. I think I can actually see it all right. And we're going to go up that score line till we get to that 2-inch score line. And that's going to free that little tab up. Then you're going to cut this one on the end also to that second score line. This piece here, there's a little square on one part and a rectangle there. Just cut that off. Okay. And this little rectangle here, you can also cut that off. This is your tab then, which you can miter like that. Okay. Now, you want to do the same on this side. Again, past that first score line, stop at the second. The same here. And remove this entire section. And remove this piece at the bottom. And then do your miter cuts. And you're ready to move over to the other side. Now this is going to be cut in the same way, but it's going to be cut from this direction this time. So you're going to go up the score line here, where you went this way. Now you're going to go in this direction. Go up to that score line. Same here. Remove that whole section and reduce that there. And then you can miter your tab. Then you only have the one left, and again you're going to go up this score line and this one here. It's a bit difficult to see, I know, this pattern paper. Just remove that. And finally, miter that. And this then is going to be where your box will close up. So this is going to get, of course, folded in like this. Right? So these will be glued in place. This will be left open to tuck in. And you're going to have another piece on the back to complete the box. Now you can have the same piece that you have here, or you could have a contrasting cardstock. I think what I'm going to do is to put a piece of white card behind here, because then it will be ready in the event that I would want to give this to someone. I'd have a place for a message. But it doesn't matter. You can use the same paper or card that you used on the front as well. Piece for the back is 4.5 by 6 inches. As I said, that's going to then fit over top of these tabs and form the completion of the box. So I will go ahead and get these tabs glued in. And we can actually leave this. Make sure I've got the right one. Yes, I do. I can leave this then to dry while we go ahead and get our recess with our scene completed. Now again, make sure that you make these corners squared. You can take your finger along and see that, yes, it's meeting just fine. Go in and give it a bit of pressure on the inside. And depending, of course, on the type of glue that you're using, or if you're using red liner tape, it's going to make a difference in how long you might need to leave that for. Hold on to it until it's completely dry. Now, I'm going to go into this side next. Remember, you're not going to do anything with these. And you're going to glue this tab. Again, match up the sides so that the corners meet squarely. Then I'll go in with that bit of pressure there first. Right. Now I can set that aside, and then we can go on to the recess. Recess piece, I have this piece of cardstock, which has been cut to 7 by 5.25. Now, as you see, I've already got some little clouds cut out. You don't need to do that. If you don't want to have any lights behind your box, then you don't have to, in which case you don't have to cut anything out so that the light can shine through. So I did this ahead of time because I used my scan and cut to cut those in, but of course you could use dies. And when you would do that is usually after you've already put the score lines in, and I'll show you those now. They're going to be the same on all 4 sides. You're going to score them at 1/2 inch and at 1.5 inches. And you'll see that that is going to frame where your recess is going to be, so that you can build your scene in here. Or if you're not going to build a scene, you could maybe fill it with flowers or, you know, something like that. So I've got my little clouds in there already. Now, I can also go ahead and do any inking or covering with paper, anything I want now as well on here. But I'll show you next how you're going to fold this piece and cut it. For the 1/2 inch tabs here. they are actually going to fold into a mountain like that. But I'll show you that in just a moment. Let's get this done first. And then all of the sides will be cut exactly the same. We'll do that. By cutting up the score line. There, releasing that, and then cut up this one as well. And much like on the box itself, remove this end piece and remove that bit on the bottom there, that rectangle, and then you can miter this. This will be your result. Okay, now this is going to be the recess inside where you'll build your scene. But these tabs here now need to become a mountain fold. So this is going to go in as a valley, and then these 1/2-inch tabs are going to fold up like that into what we call a mountain fold. So it's peaked like that. We do that on all 4 sides. Because when you get ready to glue this together, you actually glue the tabs, these glue tabs here, onto the outside of the box rather than on the inside, so that these then will fold out like that, and then you'll attach this little, almost like a shadow box, into your outer box. Now this is flat. I'm going to do a little bit of inking here. I've got a brush pen here. This is a Zig Clean Color Real Brush. I'm just going to give this background a little bit of color. And I'll show you what I'm going to be placing inside of here in just a moment. Let's do that sort of effect. And I've got a black pen here. I'm even going to put a few little birds in. Also got a scrap piece which I'm going to fit into the front of this, and I'm going to put some tabs where I can attach them. So just 1/2 inch. And I'll do a 1/2 inch here. And then what I'll do is cut some random shapes in here as though it's sort of undulating ground like that. And that is going to fit inside of here on this little shelf here. So we need to cut these corners off. Okay, we can make a little tab there as well. All I did was take the final measurement here, because, you know, yours could be a little different than mine, or even when you've, you know, cut it, and it would be the best thing to do would be just to measure it and then just add an inch to what you want. If you want to do this, you don't have to do this. You could simply have the back there. Then you will have this placed inside like that, and you can attach more pieces to it. So the pieces that I've got for this, I've already cut these out. These are from a first edition die set. I believe it was just called Gardening. And I'm going to place those in here. I've just used some alcohol markers to color them a bit. And I could even have them on little foam pads if I wanted them to come forward a little more. And then we would still have our little shelf here. Remember, it's going to be up this way, like that. So we could take some tiny little foam pads and put those behind there. And then on this shelf, I've got some other pieces, some more flowers, some tulips, and we've got a little watering can. So I think what I'm going to do is just take some of this Distress Oxide. I've got this, it's called Peel Paint. And I'm going to brush a bit of that on here. Just give it the illusion of grass. Like that. So these can go on here, like so. I also have a green brush pen, which I can come in here. Grass-like. I'll take some of these little foam squares. I'll put them behind here. These are the very tiny ones. I can place this in here, like so. And then our little scene, I'm going to, I think, go back with my green brush pen. Find that. There we are. So I'm just going to give that just a little more of a past look. If you wanted, you could even cut little slits in there. Just something along those lines. That is going to get glued into there. I'm going to first glue the tabs in place. Before I do that, so as I said, these are going to go on to the outside of the box, and you still need to, of course, square up the sides so you can run your finger along there. Be sure that that's meeting. Do the same here. Okay, so those are all done. The beginnings of our scene, and as I said, these then will get glued in here like that. Place the recess inside of the box. You'll place glue on these tabs here, and then you'll glue them down over that aperture so that what you have is this sort of shadow box diorama effect. And then you'll see you have room in the back for where you can put lights if you so desire. I would suppose if you did not want to have any lights at all, you could actually make this a lot deeper so that you could have maybe enough for a triple scene, so it would set back even further. But like I said, I'm going to use that room for any lights. So place the glue on these tabs, and having the liquid glue then gives me time to get this maneuvers into place. I'm just going to sort of let it sit right there, rest gently, and I can turn it over and see it's in the right position, and then I can just use my fingers, come inside here, start to press that into place. So then I'll be able to come in with a bone folder, get that pressed down. Just do another little check, make sure it's not protruding. It's not. It's good. Just want to be sure that's stay in place. And now you can put the back on. As I said, it's just going to fit over top of these tabs. This is 6 by 4.5. So glue on the sides of these tabs. Right. And then I'm going to place it on one side first, get it where I need it, and I can just work along here. Again, I can take my fingers and go inside, hold that in place. As you can see, there's plenty of room to put some little tiny lights in, and then this will just close up like so. And if it's catching at all, you can always miter those tabs a little, but you don't want to cut too much off. So I'm going to give that maybe the tiniest of little wedges will do it. You could even round them off if you wanted to. That often helps. So there we are. Now I still have a hanging basket, which I can place on the outside of the box. I think we'll have it over on this side. To take one of these little tiny flatback pearls and place it there for that little hook. There is our recessed shadow box, diorama, whatever you want to call it, little scene, complete with the ability to stand as well. And as you see, you can open it up and place your lights behind here, inside of there. Just slide them in and close it up. I was able to find some lights, and it's probably going to be a bit difficult to pick it up here, but you can see that those are shining right behind there, so it looks almost like daylight inside now. You can see the light coming up from the top of the box as well. Oh, there we have it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I do hope you enjoyed learning how to make this little box. It makes a nice substitution for a card, because you still have a place you can write a message on the back, and the person can display it just like they would a greeting card that you've made and sent to them. We'll be back with more tutorials, so be sure that you are subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell for all notifications so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you once again, and as always, please stay safe and crafty hugs. Bye.